And then he says this, we would have destroyed ourselves because we'd had no chance to grow a real sense of community. That sense, he says, the only true patriotism, comes slowly and springs from the heart. In other words, it takes time. It is founded upon respect for the family and love of the soil. Respect for the family and love of the soil, he said, are the two principles upon which patriotism grows. Patriotism is not an abstract thing. It's not just a word. It comes from being anchored in the soil, from knowing the land that you lived on and your families lived on for generations, for feeling a deep loyalty to the countryside, to the parish, to the village, to the community, to these woods, to this river, to these meadows. And then, if suddenly you find your country threatened, you're defending something very specific and real and concrete, something with a picture in your mind. These woods, this river, these trees, this forest, this village. So patriotism comes from love of the soil and from respect for the family. If the family's lived on the land for a long time and you walk through the manorial manse, and in the hall of portraits there's a picture of great-great-granddaddy so-and-so glowering down at you over his huge handlebar mustache, and your parents say, there's your great-grandfather, he did this and this, and he fought in this war and that war. And over there is your great-uncle, and he did this and that, and here's your older brother who did these things. And the memories of what your family has done are embedded in you, are in your bones. That produces patriotism as well. And so if we think about it, over the 250 years of the period of the monarchy, the Romans have developed something interesting that's about to become a critical factor. The people who could stay on the land for a long time, families who keep the land in the family for generations, become more wealthy. They build the ancestral manse. They build the mansion. They acquire titles of nobility. The people who, through whatever fortunes and fate, are not enabled to do this, never make much money, have to keep moving to find jobs, never put down roots in the country because they have to move generation after generation to make a living. They have to move to the city. They have to move to another part of the country. And consequently, they also break ties with the family. If you're not always living around your family, around your kin, that weakens those ties. And so they become the lower class, whereas the people who are able to maintain the roots in the soil become the upper class. And so we have two groups of people growing now in Roman culture that become an important factor in the remaining story. The patricians, or the aristocrats, the upper class, the nobility, and the plebeians, or the lower class, the commons, the average person. The patricians are the ones who've been able to sink their roots into the soil and establish themselves, make some money, and then pass on the soil and the money and the memory of the family and the genealogy to generation after generation. It's generally aristocratic families who do have better memories about their ancestors. Us commoners often like to do genealogy. We like to dig into the past and find out who our ancestors are, but it's harder work because we've traveled. We've been dispersed over the earth looking for freedom, looking for job opportunities, looking for political stability, and so we've broken our ties with the old homelands and with the old family, and it's harder for us. But the aristocrats who can sink their roots into the soil, build on the land, and then generation after generation can remain there, tend to remember their families better. And so they're the ones, the aristocrats are the ones in whom this loyalty, this patriotism first grows. They're the ones who own property, real estate, and money, and therefore have something genuine at stake if bad political decisions are made or a neighboring kingdom attacks. They have something to lose. The poor people, the commoners, don't have land to lose, don't have a huge bank account to lose. They have their lives to lose, or at least their liberty. But the aristocrats have more material things to lose, and so in them, this patriotism grows and feels very real.